How many trans-identified people of any race do you think were murdered in Chicago or anywhere else in the state?
What's going on, y'all, man? It's King Clef holding it down for the Cool Tipper, man. I'm right back at you, and today we're having a great discussion about something that's going on in Chicago. First of all, shout out to the home team, Miss Sweet.
Hey, everybody.
Give it one more time. Get a little louder.
Hi, everyone.
All right. So she actually did. We were talking about different ideas and shit, and then I saw this, and I'm a fan of Matt Walsh. I know some people find him controversial. I don't know if you heard of this movie that he put out called "What Is a Woman?"
Nope, because I have no clue who he is.
Okay, well, he's a pretty famous YouTuber, right?
Yeah.
He's with he'll be with like Ben Shapiro's. He was with and Candace Owens was a part of this network as well that they created for a while. Now she's gone and done her own thing. There's also these other guys that are pretty famous as well, you know, conservative guys. Why are you?
Well, that's why I don't know who they are.
Right. Yeah. So this is gonna be fun. Nah, but you know, a lot of people, that's real shit, because they're strongly right wing, right? And so yeah, nonetheless, he has done this movie called "What Is a Woman?" It really was a good movie because it really dove deep into, you know, the ideology of trans shit, how it didn't make sense. He even tried to go undercover and get them to kind of tell some inside shit, and then they'll catch themselves and realize that they're telling too much stuff. You feel me? And it was, you know, you should watch it. It's interesting. Nonetheless, in this one, ironically, is another trans situation, and this one's talking about that Chicago made and I have a hard time pronouncing how the word sounds put together, but it's basically a genocide for trans people. Transicide, but it's like it has an F in it. Transfemicide or some shit like that. Yeah, see? Transfemicide. I don't know if the F is there for
female.
Fuck out of here. So anyway, so here's the problem, right? Looking into it deeper, come to find out, in 2025, and this just passed, right? There are 0 trans-identifying people. That doesn't mean that none has happened, but as far as on the record of trans-identifying people that have passed away from violence, none, 0 at all. I'm gonna show you this in full, and then I'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more. Check it out.
Trans-identified people of any race do you think were murdered in Chicago or anywhere else in the state of Illinois in the entire year of 2025? I mean, this is a genocide, remember? A state of emergency. The mayor has made a task force to deal with it. Well, as it happens, after looking into it, the answer is 0. 0 trans-identified people were murdered in the city of Chicago or anywhere else in the state in 2025. Yes, the city of Chicago has declared a state of emergency over a genocide of so-called trans people in which 0 of those people were murdered. So this is the first genocide in history to kill 0 people. Of all the genocides that have actually happened in history, if you have to choose one to be the target of, like, this is the best one you could hope for. Like, I'll take the genocide where nobody is killed.
You heard that? What did you think?
I'm just trying to figure out, is it really a genocide if nobody died?
Absolutely.
Like, doesn't that, like, take away from, like, the communities that have actually had genocides? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, so how can you label something where nobody has...
Well, so here's the thing. That's a great question. That is the question.
I mean, I'm not saying anywhere, but in that specifics, like...
In Chicago.
Yes.
You're right.
So,
right.
Because we can't say anywhere in the continental United States.
Right.
But in that area.
So, I'm assuming you can label whatever the fuck you want to label as something if enough people voted through. That's what's literally happened.
Genocide goes to massive murders, massive
right. This is not even 1 or 2. This is supposed to be hundreds or thousands or whatever.
Millions.
Right. That's usually what we think of when we think of genocide. Mm-hmm. You know, you think of the Jews. Mm-hmm. We think of slavery. We think of these mass where there's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's some. I'm thinking of other stuff in Japan, like places where millions and millions of people have died, to the point there's unmarked graves and all types of shit. One or two don't even, bring a genocide. That's just a homicide investigation. So this goes to whose ideology and what is going on, and why would you do that? Because when you do that, it's supposed to be like a state of emergency. You bring other resources in to stop this shit. Why are you getting funds and putting out funds for something that's not even happening? When you have literally on Juneteenth, unfortunately, brothers and sisters who have died by the hands of some of us on a day that we're supposed to be celebrating, getting out of slavery. That's where the resources should be going, to figuring out that problem. Look, I know a lot of times people talk about programs and all this types of shit. Okay, cool. Even I saw something that we're gonna try to talk about later on. I wanted to talk to you about these teen takeovers, and they had some teens speak out, right? Reading statements they may have wrote, talking about we need a place to hang out and all that type of shit, right? And so, what do you expect? We're gonna go to the beach? Okay, right. I went to the Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to Boys and Girls Club, where Vander Holyfield went to, and that was a place for us to hang out. And
not only that, but like there's recreational sports.
Right.
There's so many programs. And not only that, but yeah, malls are closed down because at our age we could go to the mall.
Right.
But there's still other things like
right.
that you could do, and like there's skating rinks, bowling alleys. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have. Mm-hmm. a specific rec place or something. Like there are places for kids to go and be kids.
To top on top of that, they tried to say, and it's real because a lot of the recs that I grew up with and that they're talking about close at a certain time, right? Usually it's like an after school type of thing where it's like only open till like about 7 or something for like parents to come pick up the kids, or for and
like sometimes it was like 8
type shit, right? So they're talking about even having something later. Now here's the problem: you're a teenager. The point is to give you something constructive to do through this time period, and then take your ass home. It's not to give you a place to hang out outside of your home up to 12, 1 o'clock.
As a teenager, though, unless it's like the weekend, or
right?
What do you need to be doing out past a certain time?
Exactly. That's my point. Now, if they wanted to do something like this, and I know we're going to get back to this trans thing, right? But just to speak about that, if they want to do something like this on the weekend, have a spot that's open a little bit later, but you can also focus in on these areas where you have security, police, and people can organize and do some kind of function for the youth that way. Okay, maybe. And I would think that's even cheaper on funds.
We used to do like all night, like lock-in bowling, or lock-in at the skating. Like we had lock-ins back in our day.
I heard about them. I know what's up with them, and that's what I'm saying. And the reason why I smiled is because niggas gonna find a way to get. And I ain't that. No, I don't mean. I ain't just saying niggas. I'm talking about like people. I just said that as a.
Shady,
that's what I'm saying. We found a way to do wrong, but at the very minimum, at the very least, it was minimized if you was in these kind of things, and you had people that were watching, and people that were, looking for some messed up stuff. You know what I mean? And you may have got away with some stuff, but imagine what you could have got away with if there was no structure at all, right? So we'll get to that. We'll have that another conversation. So in this situation, and the reason why that could connect, y'all, is because we talk about resources and things to focus in on, right? Now, I think there's different things to be focusing on, and I ain't even talking about the resources to try to do that wreck shit. Because sometimes I think a problem is so harsh that first you need to stomp that problem out before you start to rebuild it up. This is one of those problems as far as the violence in Chicago and in some of these major cities, that trying to go in and be like and redirect that energy, you can't tell me you know the people if you don't understand that this is deep rooted beef. This is, you put these people in the same vicinity, it's gonna still be beef. If you don't stomp out the source of the fire, it's still gonna flame. Sweet, I feel like you want to say something?
Yeah, because I mean, like, even if you make these centers and these things for these kids to go to, and people to, anybody for anything, like, it's still, they have to go back to the environment that they come from, and they are still around that predominantly. So,
and that's, but you bringing that environment. remember we had to talk about something kind of private, and I was like, this is when I realized you could take somebody from this place, but you can't take that out of them. They have to really want to change the root of them in order to make a change.
Well, no, all I was saying is, like, you can take these kids out for a little bit and get them out of the environment.
Oh.
But they, even no matter how long they're out of the environment, they still have to go back home to the, and so until you fix.
That goes to stomping out the problem.
Yes, until you fix the home.
The root, the community and all that shit.
You can't expect even just, I mean, yes, you can expect that it might give them when they are, if they make it to being older, a mindset of, I can do better. But there's not a lot they can do at that age.
If you go back to that same shit. Yeah, you're right. And so, and great point. But to call this a genocide, to focus your resources, and because it becomes a state of emergency when you say genocide. You know what I mean? Like, so then you have federal funding coming in. You have federal people coming in. You know, I would even imagine if it's a genocide, that federal law enforcement will be coming. I
just don't understand why all this is coming in for that when there's still, that's one of the, Chicago's known for gangs, known for drugs, known for, why not come in and, if you're going to bring in all of that, why not bring it in for the things that could actually make your place
And I know
better?
you're going to hate this because I know how you feel, but that's what they wanted to do. And they said to Trump, hell no, we're going to fight that back. This is before ICE deployment. This is when they were doing the test run through D.C. and everybody was coming out like, man, I can actually go to the park. Like, they cleaned up all the trash, the homeless, like my kids.
I know my friends were in D.C. back when.
You told me about that, yeah. And they were like, this was, and like, it was a real change. Soon as they pulled out.
That's also during the time that here where we live, we saw way more police activity, state trooper activity.
When we was riding around and shit,
we would see for like what, a whole month.
Right. And we was counting it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were out heavy.
Because we're used to that at the end of the month.
Right.
Or the end of the, because we were even trying to figure out, well, do they have periods or quarters or, you know.
Yeah, like, quotas and all that shit.
Well,
like,
we have quotas,
yeah, but like, we was like, what's going on this month to make them out so heavy like this? Right. Because it was, when we saw the state troopers out too, not in the city.
Not even
we're like, yo, what the fuck is going on? So you're right. But they refused, and then somehow did this, and getting now the same type of funding, not the reinforcements, not the people that's gonna stop crime and shit, but people that's gonna be looking for who's killing all these transgender people that ain't dead. So you're literally gonna spend who knows how much money on an invisible chase. You're chasing a ghost on the fact of just saying we're a safe haven for trans people. That's what it really boils down to me. If I look past all the flip and I just say I'm making a safe haven for trans people that aren't dead, but we'll spend funding for that, and then we'll let the young youth kill themselves off under the guidelines of that black power, and you don't understand the black struggle. And that's what people complain about with liberal cities. Seattle's like that. LA's like that. Oakland's like that. New York's like that. Like, there's so much. We talked about that the other day about you can't even call somebody mama. You could do it in private.
New York has been crazy for a long time.
Yeah. But there's people in there that's conservative too, but they're stuck in there. You feel me? They're outnumbered. You feel me? By the insanity. And I get at some point in time there was a need for this shit, and I always look back at our era, right? And even through the crack era, you know what I'm saying? But that was a crazy epidemic and shit. People were getting swamped in this shit. You feel me?
I mean, back in our day, people were too afraid to come out as anything because they had what was that boy's name that was tied to a fence post and or something, and he was hung like Jesus and
What, a gay boy or something?
Yeah. And he died. It was it was big news back in our day.
I'm trying to think of it, but
so back then I could see spending this, calling it a genocide. And
But it wasn't a genocide even then because, I guess I hear what you're saying.
It was way. It was like people were terrified to come out.
Well, I don't want to be empathetic, so I don't know how to really say this shit. I'll say like this. There was always areas where you knew the gay people rocked, right? Ours was, in Atlanta, it's more like Midtown. Midtown was the and it's still kind of that, you know what I'm saying? But Midtown, Zone 4 and shit like that, you know, that's where they were at. California, everybody knew San Diego or San Francisco, I'm sorry. You feel me? Like, they knew that, right?
Florida, it's Wilton Manors.
I don't
Still there.
I don't like the way you said that.
No, because
You said it so angelic. Ours in Florida was Wilton Manor. It sounds like
was so pretty. Everything was so clean and nice.
Man, yeah, well, that's well. God bless the gays, I guess. I don't know. Anyhow, so my point is, back then, they weren't secret. They weren't secret. They were out. We all knew where they were at. You feel me? The difference, I think, is that they weren't pushing to be in every, like, they weren't forcing you to be like, oh, accept me. You feel me? They were just like,
don't hate me.
Go ahead.
But does it kind of go to how with African American Black people, like, they were so repressed and didn't have, like, they weren't given the same, like, you couldn't go to the same schools, you couldn't drink out of the same fountains, you couldn't, yeah, you had your freedoms, but you were still repressed, and you were still, you couldn't marry outside of your race, you couldn't, you know, like, there were so many things y'all were repressed from that there for a while, that when it did, you know, and now that kind of goes along to where I don't, like, agree with you sometimes when you say, like, you're, like, how your people are, like, doing a lot of things, like, I don't know how to word it, but, like,
killing each other and shit?
No, I don't even mean that. I mean, like, the now I don't want to say victim mentality, but I forget what word you use, where
I say victimhood, or blaming the white man basically and shit for everything, or what?
Yeah, but then, like, there are reasons for, so when you guys, like, at the beginning, like, when it first started getting your things and you were, like, flaunting, and, like, you had every right to, like, roles you couldn't have taken before, and, you know.
Right.
Like,
see, I feel you, right? Where I come in on that is, we are smart people and we know right from wrong, and there's been plenty of examples in history where even when we weren't given the access to y'all's world, we would create our own, and here's the dynamic part that fucks people up. There was no violence. We was coexisting. There's not even records of, like, major police departments because it wasn't necessary. We was really on each one, teach one, sharecropping amongst each other, and people, and so much so that even some white people will come to our towns to get better deals and better service. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, but what I'm saying is, like, we were talking about how kind of like the gay thing is being shoved down everyone's throats in social media, movies, television, stuff like that.
Pause for the cause.
But what I'm saying is, when anyone that has ever been, that's when it first starts, that's how it is. It feels like they're shoving it down your throat.
Now, I see what you're saying. That's because, like, white people did feel like that when we was doing the civil rights movement and shit like that. But and this is where I get into a real argument with some people, because they say the civil rights movement is, the gay thing is like the civil rights movement, and it's, to me, not even close, because they were never told that they can't go somewhere, do somewhere, live somewhere, nothing like that. They were never restricted except for maybe in the marriage aspect, right? They were never told,
well,
like.
Why do you think it's part of the jobs, like, discrimination thing as well? Like, there were jobs that were not given to because they were same sex. Because,
and this is why I believe this, because some of them, and I can relate this even to black people, wanted to wear their whatever attire. You feel me? There's always been gay men in corporate America. You feel me? Whether or not they were flamboyant or not, probably is a different thing, right? They were probably just like regular men working in you feel me? And people knew Maybe, you know what I'm saying, if they didn't know, they just knew he wasn't married and he just had a lot of buddies, right? But he made money. You feel me? The difference is he wasn't coming in there with, you know, the dog collar or whatever after hours. There was a time period where, and this is just all speculation. I would love to hear what you guys think about this and correction and all that shit. But I believe when it was like people wanted to dress up as a woman and go into work, right? Because that's how comfortable they feel. Or I am a woman. This is how I identify. Or I want to make, you know, put up my flag and go ahead.
Why is it that whenever we focus on trans, we always focus on man to female, but we never talk about like people feel differently about it being a woman that transitions to a man?
I don't think that they do feel differently. I think it's more of a threat towards men, and I'll tell you why. Right? It's not it's a security thing. It's because they many times are not divulging, and I know this by even hearing what people talk about, right? Where some trans people even telling other trans people, don't you tell, because this is how you can get hurt. This is how you could create a genocide. You understand what I'm saying? Unfortunately, you know, and I'm not condoning genocide, but I'm just saying the deception, right? Where I am coming or what they're coming across as like a woman, right? And they want you to just receive that as a woman, right? We don't, straight men aren't threatened by a girl trying to be a dude.
She could take your girl.
We don't realize that shit, and honestly, we don't even think that is a factor, because unless you have a dick, and this is where it's not a trans. This is where it really, because they don't have that yet. You feel me? Where you can grow a dick out of, or place a dick on, or functioning one at least. They may have something where you can, and just where you can feel good about having that, but I don't think they have it where you can actually pee through it, you know, and sew up your pussy hole. And
I don't know, I've never done that kind of research.
No, but real shit. And we don't know what's out there. If they got AI, you never know what they got cooking, right? But for the most part, what we know in the general public, it goes as far as it's a girl growing her cutting off her titties, or, you know, holding them down, strapping on her dildo, walking around like she's a dude and shit, you know what I'm saying? And we're not threatened by that, because to us, that's just a mutation, to be honest with you. You feel me? You talk about they can steal your girl, okay, but I'm telling you, many girls who aren't just, I'm a lesbian, they want the feel of a real dude. Even if you get with a girl who looks like a guy, right? But she's about the same height as you, right? There's not a whole lot of 6'5", 3" motherfucking females. You know what I'm saying? For real.
I'll share my family where they're 6'2", and
I know you're anomaly. What I'm saying is not a lot. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
The average woman is about 5'6" to 5'7". You feel me? And that's on the high end. For real.
I'm not an Oompa Loompa.
You're not. You're really not. You're just an Oompa Loompa to your giant people, right? But real shit. But most women are that. If you see a woman that's 5'10", 5'11", she's tall. She plays sports or something. You feel what I'm saying? So even if you do that, you do all this, and I'm not trying to. This is why I'm actually asking you. No, because it's just a different feel. Is it not? Like even past the sex, how a man grabs, how a man holds you, it's a different type of thing. You feel me? And this is what I've heard. So I'm asking you, because you have friends. You know, I think you even have a family.
I don't know any fully trans from.
What I'm talking about, even on the lesbian aspect, right? Have you ever talked to a girl that's like, you know, it's a different feeling between being even slight intimate, like the hugs and things like that, versus how a woman hugs you? That to me seems more tender than a strong, safe hug.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they transition into a man, don't they tend to think more like a man, act more like a man?
I want to show you this clip. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Hold, I'll be right back.
Healthy masculinity to me is, or even just something I've felt as transitioning, is like leaning away from whenever there is some sort of impulse or expectation you've put on yourself to like shut down or conform in a way that usually feels like this, like I am closing off. I remember kind of being like, oh, Elliot, maybe you should, talk with your hands a little less, or You know, maybe in pictures, because ever since transitioning, now I'm like, Johnny, I am smiling. I am smiling in those photos. Whereas I used to be I could barely look at a photo of myself. I was always like, you know, and now, and I'll be say a dude's like, hey, are you Victor from Umbrella Academy? You know, and we're doing a photo together. He's very, I'm very, you know, and like having that moment where I'm like, oh, should I also not? Like, should I also be
Close
and
off.
it's just like, what the fuck, Elliot? What are you talking about? Like, oh, honey, you're the part of the problem.
You heard that? Do you think, because you was asking about the mentality, did that sound anything like what a straight cis man would say? It sounded more like how you and what's that dude, gay something from your bar, would talk. Up until he starts blowing raspberries at your titties and shit. You know what I'm saying? Which is another thing. They have the open line with y'all. Like, they don't have a, I guess because the dick don't work.
No,
then it's
he's
like,
not trans. He is.
well,
he's
nah,
gay.
that's the, yeah.
He's openly, flamboyantly.
Yeah, the way he was blowing in your titties, it wasn't goddamn gay as hell. You know what I'm saying? He had some pussy before.
Against him, we're off
All right,
subject.
but my point is, that sounded, and maybe there are guys, because I think we looked at some other stories researching that there are girls who really try to embody that, and I guess those are the type that you were talking about that could possibly, but I think still when it gets down to it, because I believe even when they go into that, I'm a man, and try to, I'm a man, and all that shit, it's practice. You're having to cosplay. You don't really know. You don't know the you know what I mean? It's from one extreme to the other. You feel me? The one I get upset with some of the most flamboyant black guys, because it's like they take the worst aspects of women and then they embody that and they say this is how women act. And so you feel me? And then when they do the whole drag or whatever shit they do, that's the extreme version of it, right? And it doesn't help when women are like, go cis girl, go. And it's like, bitch, he's kind of making fun of you. If you like you feel me? It's like if Elliot wanted to be a black trans man, right? Right? Got the 10, and now he got a gun. Now he got a bandana. Now this is what he sees as being a brother. You understand what I'm saying? So should we be like, yeah, my nigga, hell yeah, welcome? Or should we be like, yo, that's what you see? That's what you think? Go ahead.
Couldn't we have put it as more something like a RuPaul or somebody who is already, and put instead of making it like Elliot was trying to make himself a black and like can we not just stick with somebody like a RuPaul?
Okay,
or,
so
another like.
All right. I don't know too many trans women to men trans. Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, so that's why I said that. What fucked it up is the black part. You know what I'm saying? even though there was a lady who went sister, and she passed. You know what I mean? Because they're all light skinned, like Quincy Jones's daughter. I thought she was white for a long time. I just thought she was kind of like thick and just had a little curly hair and shit. You remember? I didn't know she had Quincy as a father. So there are people that can pass right there.
Even what's her name? Nicole Richie.
Lionel Richie's daughter. Yeah. She real shit. And she didn't get none of the black, like, you know what I'm saying? Because she's skinny as hell. Maybe she got a little small bubble booty.
She used to be thick. She
lost weight or something.
That like I'm on TV and that makes me look, and so now I got to be like super small.
That's when she linked up with Paris, because I remember this had to be before their first little TV show where they was going through the farm.
First TV shows, she was thick.
She had a little bit of thick.
For her, she was.
Got you for her.
And that's before the whole.
And she really got small. Yeah. Well, my point is, I brought that up to just kind of go into, I don't think, this is one of those things where it's in you, not on you, right? And just because you think like a man, or you think like a woman, right? Just because you go to the store and your mama gets something and you're like, oh, I think that's pretty. That doesn't mean that your mentality is woman. You don't even know the woman experience. You don't even know the woman feel. You don't know none of these things. You just know what you are drawn to, what you find exciting about, what you envy, and you want that, and you try to make it a part of you. And so you're really emulating, cosplaying, pretending, doing dress up, and hoping that the world believes it's Halloween for the whole year. And that's really at the end of it. and you just put some money, extra money into your costume. You didn't go to Party City. You went to the doctor. You went to J.C. Penney's, and you went down to the goddamn Timberland store, bought you some boots, and was like, yo, I can rock them like the dudes. Hey, what's up, bros? You feel me? Not for real. Because that's what you're doing. Like, even the dudes who try to be women, hey, like, you're practicing this shit. You feel me? To emulate what you think a woman is in hopes that other people will see a woman. Then get mad when a dude is like, yo, dude, I ain't fucking with that. Right? But if you can actually pass, and this goes back to that 360 part where you asked about why is it so angry for straight men, because it feels as if you're purposely, especially if you want me to not even ask, inquire, if you don't feel the need to divulge, if you feel like this is just supposed to be what you say it is, then you are purposely trying to manipulate me and make my brain stop working until it works like your brain. And I see what you see, but I don't see what you see. I see reality in my version of reality, which I think is reality, but your reality is distorted to a degree. And it's even a deeper thing. Now I'm supposed to be mentally insane like you. Like, I'm not crazy, but to survive in this world, I gotta be crazy like you to make you feel better. So you can feel okay about being crazy. So now we gotta make the world crazy to fit you. So that's why people feel like that. Especially when we're forced. Like making a law like genocide. You see what I'm saying? The penalties even getting more increased if something does happen to one or two of them. So that's the domino effect of all of it. That's when we start looking at the agenda. That's when we start putting the details together. You feel me? So that's just my answer. I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you have anything to add at the end of this?
No, I think we've said all we have.
Cool. Like, share, and subscribe always. Do that good shit, man. We're going to be back with more and more. Catch us at Cool Table 1.0 with the homie, the Avatar. Catch us here always at AH as well, and catch up with the homie T the Teacher, where you'll see more of the lives. We're also going to be trying to work out another live situation as well for some of these other channels as well. So we'll catch you kids next time. All the cool kids, hold it down. Deuces.